As Jerry Springer always said, take care of yourself. Hi everyone, my name is Katie and you're listening to KT, where friendship is magical. I think that's a My Little Pony reference. That's definitely a My Little Pony reference. Please don't sue me, I didn't say it word for word. Today I wanted to give my opinions on different things, as if I don't already voice my opinions enough. Since that's what my podcast is all about, I don't care. In fact, that's where I'll start my discussion. Well, my one-sided discussion. I do appreciate comments, though. I'd love to continue discussions with all of you. Learning not to care about things that don't matter is definitely a struggle many people face. I'm no exception to this. I'm going to make a promise to you that I'm going to be as honest as possible. To me, this podcast means being honest and vulnerable to my audience. I'm a very insecure person. I think about what others think about me and how others perceive me way more than the average person should. I think it's one of my worst traits. Because of my insecurity, I tend to get absorbed in the idea that everyone is watching everything I do, so I end up doing nothing. I don't talk to people because I think they're going to judge me. But this semester, I've made it a point to talk to at least one person in all of my classes, and so far that's going well. I've contributed to discussions in my English class, and it makes me feel good that I can finally start participating in something without feeling stupid or embarrassed. I don't know what changed in me. I didn't try any new medications or smoke weed to calm me down. Maybe this is what it's like to become an adult. Maybe this is what it's like to get older. Maybe it's the fact that I want more friends because I feel like I annoy the ones I already have. Either way, it's a sign of growth. I'm coming out of my shell. Recently, I've come up with a mantra to help me cope with things I can't control. I use it whenever someone's opinion of me shouldn't matter. Frankly, it's an inappropriate mantra, but for some reason, it works. It makes me realize how insignificant someone's thoughts of me are. Even though this mantra isn't the most clean or even a mantra at all, I'll tell you the 3 words. F these hoes. Because to put things simply, F the people who judge you. It sounds negative, but it's actually positive if you think about it. I'm not saying screw everyone, or that no one's opinion matters. I'm saying screw the judgments people make about you. If someone is going to judge you, their opinion of you doesn't matter. I've also received some good advice from one of my friends that I needed to hear. She told me, you can't let people control your emotions. These people are nobodies, and they have nothing over you. Stop worrying about them. And I really needed that. There's nothing like having good friends that will be honest with you and tell you what you need to hear. Even if you already knew it, it's good to hear it from them. It makes it more serious. On the topic of friends, I wanted to share something I learned last semester in a group therapy session I went to a couple times. I don't go to therapy and I probably should. They say people go to therapy because the people around them that need to go aren't going. Moving on. The topic of that session was relationships, and I don't mean just romantic ones. In fact, we were all happy talking about specifically friendships. I learned that there are different kinds of friendships, and it sounds trivial, but when you think about it, it's really insightful. You put your friends in different categories. You have your best friends, who you can talk to about anything. They're the bridesmaids at your wedding. You would do anything for them. Then you have, let's just say, your friends, or even your good friends that you like hanging out with. They're good for going to the mall and having good conversations, but you wouldn't trauma dump and expect them to hold you while you cry. Then you have your blank friends. The blank can pretty much be filled with any noun. For example, let's say it's your friend in chemistry that you wouldn't go to the mall with, but you would work on an experiment with them. That's your chemistry friend. People you have a limited comfortability with, but are more than an acquaintance. I'm going to say this. There's nothing wrong with being an acquaintance. You can spend time with someone without being their priority person, or even their friend. You can have good acquaintances. That being said, these categories aren't set in stone. You can have friends you become closer with, and some acquaintances can become friends. But it's still okay to have friends that you only have coffee with once or twice a month. Another thing I wanted to mention is that you shouldn't force a friendship. If someone doesn't want to make a lot of time for you, don't ask them why. Don't annoy them like you would a friend. I guess to put it briefly, know your place. If both parties want to advance to a higher rung on the totem pole, it will be clear. You won't have to guess. In fact, I have a Bible verse to run by you, and I think it perfectly encapsulates what I mean. And I'm not a religious person. In fact, over half of my family is Jewish. But my religious experience is a story for another day. and I've already started writing that script. But it comes from Ecclesiastes 3:7. A time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak. In other words, there's a time to keep things to ourselves. Know your place in other people's lives. I also want to mention, there will always be those acquaintances that think you're friends because they don't understand social cues. And those people may be easy to deal with depending on the type of person you are. But I, however, can't tell someone they're not my friend. I don't like hurting people's feelings, which, let's remind myself, F these hoes. Here's a word to the wise. Effective communication. Please, for the love of all things, don't ask to Zoom with me if it can't be sent in an email, especially if that email can use bullet points. This is how I'm moving forward with my communication skills discussion, by the way. I hope you don't mind. I'm sick and tired of Zoom meetings that are half an hour long just to be a Q&A session. If you have questions, email them. By the way, everyone needs to check their emails a lot more and a lot more thoroughly. I know, no one likes checking their email. I'm sure Jesus Christ himself is going through his endless inbox wishing someone else could do his job. But guys, I cannot stress to you how painful Zoom calls are. And many of you know what I'm talking about because you've Zoomed before. I should just expect the whole planet has Zoomed once in their life. But as someone who's insecure about what people think, I don't want my camera on. I don't want to say something in the call that draws attention to me because now I'm in a big square on everyone's screen. That's nightmare fuel. And maybe I'm the abnormal person who doesn't like Zoom calls, but I highly doubt it. I'm sure even if it doesn't bring anxiety to you, it brings you boredom or some negative emotion. Whoever Zooms with people when it's unnecessary should have their morals checked. Morals. Everyone has them. Or, well, almost everyone has them. There are a few things I want to say about morals that I wish were universal thoughts. First of all, we don't admit when we're wrong enough. Some people think they do no wrong and are angels, when in reality they're hurting the people around them and they don't even realize it. When they're accused of something, they think it's untrue. And to that, I wish they would look inside themselves and really think about their actions. Some people are really too ignorant to know they did something wrong. Some friends don't realize they're hurting their friends or pushing the boundaries of their category. A true friend knows when not to overstep. We also don't say we're sorry enough. We don't admit to our faults and apologize for them. Apologizing for things makes us better, stronger people. If I received a heartfelt apology from some of the people who have wronged me, I would think they're a changed person. However, I've received some apologies that I thought were heartfelt, but turned out to be, well, not. Another thing, it makes me so sad to hear people who think they're always right. How are you supposed to grow and evolve if you think you have nothing more to learn? Also, I think we have too many lies in the world. I learned the value of honesty early on, and I will not lie to someone unless I'm in danger or my safety is at risk. Let's talk about that. There are times where it's acceptable to lie. For one, when your relative brings some nasty dish over to Thanksgiving and you can't hurt their feelings and tell them you wouldn't even feed it to your dog. But in addition, I think it's okay to not tell the truth if the truth puts you in danger. Now, I'm not saying lie about being a serial killer. That's not at all what I mean. I'll give you an example. When you're on Tinder and some creep wants to take you out on a date, that's when you tell him you moved across the country so you can't. That's perfectly reasonable to do. And if you happen to see him at Applebee's a few weeks later when you're on a date with somebody not creepy, tell him you have a twin and he must have been talking to them. They say a white lie never hurt anyone. I can't say this is a white lie, but I can say it's not hurting anyone. It's keeping yourself safe. Your safety matters. If someone is making you feel unsafe, please do something about it, even if you're scared. Do what you think is best. That's what's important. Taking care of yourself is the most important thing you can do. I would be a hypocrite to give advice on this, since at the time of writing the script I'm coming down with something. But please take care of your body and your mind. Protect your peace. I've been trying to do this for 2 years, and though it makes your circle smaller, it's better for you in the end. And the journey doesn't end. There is no nirvana. There is no peak or light at the end of the tunnel. find peace within being yourself, and just ride the wave. So if you get anything out of this episode, it's that you are important. And no more pointless Zoom meetings. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of KT. If you're interested in getting updates and behind-the-scenes content, go ahead and follow KT Podcast on Instagram. That's KAETEA Podcast. I also take episode suggestions. You can leave them in my DMs or feel free to comment on any of my posts. And with that, I'm Katie, and this is KT. Thanks for listening, and I hope you tune into the next one.